Iran's missile cities, the underground war machine that refused to die. Beneath the mountains of Iran lies a network its own commanders called the missile cities, vast tunnel complexes built to survive exactly the kind of war Iran fought in early 2026. When American and Israeli forces finally launched their long-feared assault, they killed Iran's supreme leader within hours. By most classical military logic, that should have ended Iran's ability to fight back. It did not. This is the story of how a decades-old underground strategy was tested against the most advanced air power on Earth, born from a war of fire. Iran's obsession with hiding its missile force underground traces back to the brutal Iran-Iraq War of the 1980s, when Iraqi Scud missiles rained down on Iranian cities, while Iran's air force, crippled by international arms embargoes, could barely respond in kind. Out of that vulnerability came a doctrine. If Iran could not control the skies, it would build a force that never needed to. Engineers began carving tunnels into the Zagros and Alborz mountain ranges as early as 1984, work that, according to Iranian accounts, has continued without pause for 40 decades. By the time satellite images of these complexes were first shown to the world in 2015, Iran claimed to have distributed such facilities across all 31 of its provinces, forming a hidden corridor of research, production, storage, and launch sites. The tunnels themselves were engineered around a simple problem. How do you move something as large as a ballistic missile launcher through a mountain quickly enough that it can fire and disappear before satellites or drones can react? Iranian state media has shown automated rail systems capable of shuttling missiles like the Imad, Khorramshahr, and Sijil from vertical underground storage directly to launch points, firing in rapid succession before retreating back into the rock. Around every real tunnel mouth, engineers reportedly built dummy openings and dummy launchers designed to soak up expensive precision munitions aimed at targets that were never there to begin with. The war that tested the theory. On February 28, 2026, that decades-long bet was put to its ultimate test. In a coordinated assault the United States called Operation Epic Fury and Israel called Operation Roaring Lion, Allied forces struck Iran with nearly 900 strikes within 12 hours, an opening blow that killed Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei, along with several of Iran's most senior military and political officials. It was, by any conventional measure, a decapitation strike of historic scale, precisely the scenario Iran's military planners had spent years designing their command structure to survive. According to Iranian officials and regional analysts, Iran's response drew on what its own strategists had described as a mosaic defense, a deliberately decentralized command structure built around 31 semi-independent provincial commands, each reportedly granted pre-authorized permission to launch from its own missile stockpiles without waiting for orders from a capital that, within hours, no longer had a functioning central command to issue them. Whether or not this exact framework operated as cleanly as later Iranian and sympathetic accounts described, what is well documented is that Iran's retaliation did not stop after Khamenei's death. Instead, waves of ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and drones began launching from multiple dispersed sites across the country toward American bases, shipping in the Strait of Hormuz, and Israeli territory from the very first hours after the strike. Among the most scrutinized sites was the missile complex reportedly built into Mount Shirkuh near Yazd, a facility Iran claims houses long-range Khorramshahr and Sijil missiles inside granite hundreds of millions of years old. American B-2 bombers dropped GBU-57 bunker buster bombs, the largest conventional bunker-busting weapon in the U.S. arsenal, weighing around 30,000 pounds and designed to punch through more than 100 feet of reinforced concrete before detonating. Iranian officials and some outside researchers have pointed to the country's development of ultra-high performance concrete reinforced with steel and polymer fiber, as a factor that limited the damage even direct hits could inflict. Though independent verification of exactly how much protection this provided remains difficult given the secrecy surrounding the sites and the fact that much of this account still rests heavily on Iranian and Allied sourced reporting rather than fully independent assessment. What multiple outside analysts, including at Western think tanks, have agreed on is the broader economic pattern that emerged. Iran's missile and drone arsenal, built from relatively inexpensive components, forced the United States, Israel, and their partners to expend enormous quantities of far more costly interceptors. Systems like Patriot, THAAD, and Arrow, each interceptor costing millions of dollars against Iranian projectiles that often cost a small fraction of that. Within weeks of sustained fighting, reports from defense analysts and even Pentagon officials pointed to real concerns about interceptor stockpiles being consumed faster than industry could replace them, with some estimates suggesting certain systems might not be fully restocked until the end of the decade. This cost imbalance, rather than any single indestructible bunker, may be the more durable lesson of the war for military planners studying it today. What can be said with more confidence is this: a strategy conceived 4 decades ago in response to a very different war, one built on the belief that survival mattered more than sophistication, was put to the most severe test imaginable in 2026. However the final analysis settles, the missile cities of Iran forced a reckoning within the world's most advanced militaries about just how much high technology can accomplish against an adversary willing to build its entire war machine into the bones of a mountain.